God, I had no idea how good it was to hear Veli give us a take it away until that exact moment right there. Is this what it feels like?
This is it, Jacob.
We've been hearing them say that to NAL talent for such a long time. Veli, love your face. Thank you for it. We're not blue and Stokes.
No.
We're two other white guys. We got to make this work somehow.
We got to get going, and you know what? We love Veli, but sometimes standing next to him on the desk, like, it just makes me want to pull my hair out. So
Dude,
I said,
sometimes, yeah, I know.
just need a break. We've got 5 games today. They wanted me to do 5 games on the desk next to Veli. I mean, it couldn't happen.
No, it's ridiculous. I mean, the good thing is we get a little bit of a reprieve, and we go back to the old days, back to the old Challenger League days where, fun fact, he was actually the first duo that I ever had in esports casting ever. So all the way from CL to Mexico to here, we're making things work out. But we do still have some things at stake that we want to run through before we jump into this matchup, because this is major territory for TSM. If we look at what you've got on screen right now, the only way in which TSM does not qualify for Sweden is if it's a standard regulation win for Mirage. If TSM win in regulation or overtime, or it's an overtime win for Mirage even, that's where we see TSM qualify, because all they need is 1 point.
Yeah, starting today, it was all in Dark Zero's hands. If they had won both their matches, they could have locked it down, but they lost their first game, Jacob, and so now TSM have the opportunity to seize the moment and go to Sweden. This would be a big moment for them because obviously they didn't finish top 4 in all 3 of the stages. This would be a land that they'd be able to go to and show that this stage, although it's been weaker, is still a good one for them, and they're still on top.
Last time we saw TSM and Mirage play, however, for those of you who have good memories and can go all the way back to Stage 2, that was a Mirage win over TSM. That was on Coastline. It was a 7-5. It was really close, and that was TSM making a whole bunch of very crucial mistakes in that matchup, and Mirage managing to capitalize. But there is a bit of a difference. We have Thomas on this team now, so it's not exactly the same, and we're still looking at a TSM team that right now, with Chala as a primary IGL, they're 2-0 with the squad with this exact composition.
And we've got a community poll question for you guys to take a look at. We asked an R6 Esports NA, achieved leads dream and 1vx wins by just 1. Which player will have more clutches in this matchup?
Good
and
grief.
Man, I like Achieved. I think Achieved's an amazing player, but Dream and some of the clutches he's pulled off in the stage so far, I don't know if I would be voting against him today.
Achieved had that 23 kill game from yesterday, which it kind of will probably, I think, shift a whole bunch of people towards him, and it's also TSM in a Twitter poll, so
true.
Don't want to give too much hope for Dream, but still, that is a massive deal. So, the stakes are set. If TSM can claim even 1 point, 6 rounds in this matchup, they are guaranteed. They book their ticket all the way to the Nordics, going to Sweden as the 4th North American representative, the 16th team to go to the next major. But Mirage are standing in their way, and Dark Zero are currently Mirage's biggest fans right now.
We'll get into the operator bans here on Clubhouse. Mirage have played this map a lot so far this stage. This will be their 4th time playing on Club, and their bans have been very consistent. The Capitao ban, an interesting one from TSM. That'll make clearing out those rafters very difficult for any attackers that want to take that route. Mirage have banned Hibana on all 3 attempts that they've gone to Clubhouse so far. Will they keep that trend up? Yes. Leaving Thatcher in the pool. This would have been known by TSM. Mirage accepting that Hibana will be taken out so that they can keep playing with Thatcher for these first 6 rounds. They've historically been banning out Wamai on their defensive rounds. Again, in the 2 matches that they've played, they've banned out Wamai. Once they've banned out Valkyrie. So we'll see what this ends up being. It will be Valk this time, so they're going to switch it up. Make sure that the Wamai is still in the pool. TSM could now ban it if they'd like, and it wouldn't shock me if they did, but the Kaid is going to be something that probably won't go. Yeah, Mira getting taken out. Kaid would have been a good ban if Thatcher had been banned out as well, but with Thatcher on the board, you don't need to.
Oh boy. TSM FTX being in this position yet again. Do you remember last time? At stage 1. They had a game up against Disrupt. It was the very final game of their stage, and it was the winner of that matchup made top 4. We didn't have a major to play for back then, but this is still pretty familiar territory for TSM where their fate is very much in their hands. We're not looking at a case right now of whoever wins the game goes, like we had for both of the last 2 stages, but this is still prime time for TSM, and they have kind of fallen short of the marker, not just this stage, but overall. So giving them a really, really big boost in this game will hopefully give us a lot of faith in them when they go to Sweden, if that is what ends up happening in this matchup, because of the 4 teams going, if it's Dark Zero or TSM, I do question how well they'll do internationally, because both of them seem to be struggling a little bit by comparison to the other 3.
And Jacob, as we load into the map here, I do want to pick your brain a little bit on who you think is going to come out on top here, because we have seen, Mirage play on Clubhouse a lot this stage. One thing Devin said on the desk is that they're getting better each time, right? 3 rounds the first time, then 4 rounds, then 6 rounds.
Yeah.
But the way I hear that is they lost the first time, then they lost, and then they lost again. So I don't know if the trend is really they're getting better or that they continue to fail. What do you think?
Not totally sure. I think it's really a case where the more rounds that they win, the more confidence that I've got, and just the fact that if we were seeing them do like a gradual decline and a gradual slip, then that would worry me a little bit more than what we've seen so far. So honestly, I'm kind of in Emzo's camp, but really this game is going to help like solidify what everyone's opinions are going to be of that situation. But we're finally here. The final road for TSM and for Mirage on Clubhouse. They've both liked this map in the past. Mirage have kind of gone back to it where they found success in stages 1 and 2, but they did just lose this to the Sonics in overtime. What I saw in that game from yesterday, by the way, was TSM barely winning and Mirage barely losing. So this game genuinely could be way closer than we give it credit for.
Round 1, TSM are defending Church Arsenal, and they've gone for a drone denial roam, rocking that Mozzie, rocking that visual. Mute absent for now, but they've got the cap cannon set up. Oh, and already an engagement. That's Diffuse Kit down as Gio finds the first kill of the match onto loading, and he still wants to fight this. Jacob, as he's full blind, he needs to get out of here because he could be able to get traded, but no, he's in the corner. Gio for the first 2 kills, and we've been talking about how he's been struggling so far this stage, but a huge way to start off this match.
Less than a minute gone, 3 kills already, but the Diffuse Kit is going to be the primary function, and still members of Mirage falling by the wayside. Benji, he's got control downstairs in blue, but he doesn't have Diffuser, so it's going to fall on Dream to go and try to find it himself, but there's still TSM surrounding it. Already 2 players making their way back towards garage storage on top of blue stairs. Gio's got help from Achieved, and he can make this drop into blue if he wants to pick Benji off immediately with no recourse. It'll take a second to drone. Everything beginning to slow down for Mirage a little bit. I think there still is a chance in this round, but it's going to be very minimal and will come down to TSM FTX not giving Mirage additional 1v1s because both Dream and Benji absolutely can win them, but they need isolated kills. Dream walks right in. Achieved is still waiting for him at the top of the hatch, and it all falls upon Benji with 4 kills to find. It looks pretty dire from here.
Yo, good start off. I don't know if you realized Achieved would be running there, but with the pre-fire, he's able to hit that headshot, and Achieved is going to fall. That leaves 3 opponents left to find, but he doesn't know Gio's position, or does he? Sprinting in, Benji, not the right call. Gio, 3 kills on that round. And the thing I want to talk about is this was Gio on defense, and one stat that I brought up time and time again on defense is how much Gio's been struggling in the opening engagements on defense. Before this match, 0 and 14 for defensive opening engagements for Gio.
Yike.
Make that 1 in 14, as he now has gotten the first opening pick of this matchup, and a hugely impactful one at that.
Yeah, him getting aggressive going all the way up blue was a little shocking because if he's in those engagements, I don't really trust him to win those because he hasn't done that so far in this stage. Nice to see him pick up the pace a little bit, at least for the first round. It's also not the end of the road for Mirage, but it was a little surprising how fast they moved into blue and then how quickly Gio was able to capitalize and get the diffuser down, because once that happened, the entire attacking strategy that Mirage might have had was totally stalled. I mean, you saw how fast Benji got into Generator. He was down there in a moment's notice, lickety-split, but the rest of his team wasn't there to work with him in the speed that he was operating with, so it was kind of speed versus speed, and TSM won out in the end.
I mean, we have seen this before, right? For Mirage, when they have to attack into that drone denial hold, it's not out of the ordinary to see a team go for a rush in that situation, especially round 1. But for Mirage, I mean, they were just unfortunate that that Gio was able to catch it. And the one thing I really liked about that was that after he got the opening pick, Gio rotated into the corner. Nix was, I believe it was Nix, was fully expecting him to have gone down the stairs to run away after he got flashed. But Gio kept playing aggressive, and man, it paid off so well.
That's a 4D chess moment right there.
Absolutely.
No, because you're right, you do expect him to go back down the stairs, but he waited in waiting. Waited in waiting? He was lying in wait. That's the phrase I'm looking for.
Well, Jacob, we're moving on to the second round. It's going to be gym bedroom for our bomb site, and it is going to be a cache extension, as we often expect to find on this bomb site. Be interested to see what Mirage want to do here. I know a lot of teams these days kind of just choose to give up CCTV cache. They want to focus fully on that jacuzzi wall. It's totally a valid way to do it because it can be very difficult to clear out the entire well of utility that can be over on that cash side, but we'll find out from the side of Mirage. It does look like they want to start off by going underneath the bomb site, seeing what they can disrupt. There's a lot of utility on the side of TSM, so these flashbangs and these nades will have to be aimed very precisely if they want to get through all this.
Looking at a lot of the secondary utility for Mirage, 9 breach charges. So you've got 3 flashes on Dream and then enough burn still left from Benji, but you're only looking at a Wamai, you're not looking at a Jaeger, so it's probably not the end of the world, at least for the side of Mirage. Just having an abundance of secondary utility like that won't be super useful in this case. The primary objective, we begin with Jacuzzi. That's one of the 2 things on this objective that needs to get taken down, and Shower might just be the other, and it will force Chala out of the Shower position. So for the moment, he will need to take up refuge just outside of Gold Vault, but the opening frag goes to Nyx as Achieve gets removed from the field. He does have both those shields down, but you can already hear them exploding, which means the cover that Chala's gotten here is continuing to get less and less, but he won't worry about that. He will knock Nyx right off, and we go back to 4-4.
Mirage are going for the take. I was suggesting that they might, going primarily through Jacuzzi. Already more gunfights happening bottom of the main stairs. Everybody just gets shredded from TSM FTX and Mirage in the blink of an eye. These rounds are going so quickly, but they'll tie up the game regardless.
That was quick. Okay. So they get Jacuzzi open. There's someone sitting main stairs. I was looking for a Logi drop, but didn't quite see it toward like closer to the end. But all those kills in very quick succession, it seems like it was a very coordinated effort. Mirage either had a drone somewhere in the building or knew their timing enough to just coalesce and swarm around everyone on TSM, because it didn't really seem like there was someone in a position for a refrag on a defense. It was Chala kind of sitting back on the couch inside master bedroom and didn't have a lot of protection, especially with the window and the showers and Jacuzzi being open and all those long angles to watch. The TSM just getting a little bit surrounded, and Mirage do a really good job to take advantage.
I feel like we're seeing a lot of confidence come out from Mirage in these first couple of rounds, and I really do like to see that. You know, you're going up against a team like TSM that is just absolutely chocked full of gunplay. We saw how well Achieved was able to do that in the last Playday. We've seen that from Bolo, we've seen that from Merc, and even Geo, who I've been pretty harsh on the desk, you know, over the last stage or so, but he's had his moments, and right now in this game, of course, he's been a big player for TSM as well. But I love how Mirage aren't afraid to get into this building and just take those fights, right? The biggest advantage the attackers have that early is that, you know, they're not going to be expecting when you just run into the building like that. Maybe you haven't cleared all the utility by now, maybe you haven't droned everything, but when you can have that element of surprise, it can often make a big difference, and Mirage have tried that twice now, and at least once it's worked out.
Do you want to draw attention to that Capital ban as well?
Yeah.
We have both a Jaeger and a Wamai in play for this round. TSM on defense first. Banning Capital means if you don't win CCTV twice, I don't really know what you're doing. So I will put the pressure on TSM. You gotta win because of that amount of Raptors protection that you've got, unless Mirage decides to put 2 or 3 men towards doing nothing but taking a Raptors objective. So we'll see how they're able to take this for one moment. I do think the first step is ensuring flat wall gets open. Does the trick succeed? It does not. So that's one thing taken, but the other objective that Mirage can go for, is it server window, is it construction, is it red stairs? I don't know how willing they'll be to go for a Raptors take, given the Capital ban and Geo's power position in Raptors with 2 ADSs. So if they do that, it's going to waste a lot of time and utility. They might be served going someplace else.
Wow, Geo from the Raptors going to get a second opening pick on defense, this time onto Dream, who is just too foolhardy to stand in front of that doorway, drops the diffuser. It should get picked up relatively easily. That's going to be a little bit of extra time that Mirage didn't want to have to spend, and of course, that's your thermite gone. Now, he had opened up the wall, so primary objective has been finished, but you've still got Nyx here in the behind, who has used all of his Selma charges as well, so might be lacking a little bit on that hard breach. I want to see if they've opened up the garage panels below. If that's all already open, then they shouldn't have any problems. And looks like those are closed, so this could be an issue. Losing Dream, not ideal after you haven't opened up that, nor have you opened up the construction wall.
Everyone on TSM FTX are still relatively close to the bomb site, with the exception of Merc, who's still working on the construction roam as Mozzie at the minute. So anywhere that Mirage go, there is going to be someone from TSM lying in wait. And Bolo is actually still in below. He's outside Kennels, or inside Blue at the minute, waiting for a chance to strike. And this might just be an opportunity for Mirage to push right in, but there's still so many players that are going to watch these straight angles, so it's not advisable for Mirage to take this just yet. If there isn't anything else cleared, but Loading is going to storm right into server window. He'll find one frag. Thomas will do the same, and Plant's going down to the default spot. Loading tries to hold across. Nitro Cell gets shot, and this plant will go down without anything that TSM FTX can do about it. Loading and Nyx both killed by Bolo, storming back up Rafters. Thomas trying to make a difference. It all falls to Benji back on the rappel. So this retake for TSM may just work out, and it does. Bolo, 3 kills on the round, and TSM FTX get another on the board.
Well, that's why he's the best player in the game, Jacob.
Yes,
Bolo,
sir.
huge flank. I mean, you got to talk about, again, Mirage maybe jumping the gun a little bit, trying to go in for that site as quickly as they did. It wasn't like a rush that we saw the first 2 rounds, but again, you're seeing them maybe skip a couple of steps. They're not clearing as much utility. They're not clearing a lot of the map before they're just deciding to walk into the bomb site, enter in through the breach, and try to get that plant down. And yeah, to their credit, they got that plant down. They had control of the bomb site, but because they didn't take that time to clear out the rest of the map, Bolo came up from a roam and was able to have a huge impact on his return to site. And I want to say, this is a position we've seen Bolo take multiple times in the past. Assuming Mirage have done the research, they should have known that Bolo likes to play that Wamai sort of in the basement, roaming around when they defend that bomb site. He's one of the few Wamai players on that site that won't sit Rafters and throw his magnets all over the place. And with that Capitao ban, I mean, you really don't need the Wamai up there anymore. Typically, that's why he's there, to catch those crossbow bolts. But he often does like to play down below, and unfortunately for Mirage, they just didn't have that flank watch to catch him as he rotated up through Garage.
Does make it infinitely harder to take Rafters, given the way that TSM kind of set themselves up. But Mirage still had an objective. The first kill was Benji onto Geo, killing the Rafters position, and they tried to move quickly. They said, you know what, server window and plat wall, that's a pretty good 1-2 punch. Let's see if we can work from north to south or east to west. It wasn't quite to be. And TSM doing a really good job of just staying fast, holding firm, and Bolo obviously with the 3K turns it into a TSM FTX round. However, welcome back to church. In their case, nothing for Mirage, where it seems as though it's shifted since the beginning of the match. And TSM, for their own part, I'm seeing a Vigil, I'm seeing a Mozzie, I don't see a Mute. Why is there a cap can here?
Yeah, well, this is interesting. I thought it was the first time being brought just to surprise your opponents. Like, if you don't know there's a cap can, you know, you're more likely to run into those. But now this is the second time that Bolo has shown off the cap can and is going to be playing it here on this defense. To be fair, Mirage didn't really have much an opportunity to run into those cap can traps, so maybe it will still be a bit of a surprise. What a shot from Achieve to open us up onto Nyx. I was just going to talk about how it's likely Mirage will go for a different take this time around, considering how poorly the last one went, going for that full clear, but that makes it kind of difficult. Another gunfight in bathroom as Chala takes down Thomas. The aggression coming in from TSM, showing they're not afraid of Mirage. They're willing to take these gunfights, and so far, Jacob, it has gone perfectly.
I'm loving these swings. There's still so much of a power position vertically that Merc holds upstairs in Logistics office. They're setting themselves up for success incredibly well. This was a problem for Mirage back at the beginning of the stage of taking 1v1 gunfights and sometimes putting themselves into a 1 versus 2, and no one's there for a trade or a refrag opportunity, nothing. They didn't buddy up as this stage started, and Merc is still going to wreak havoc upstairs in Logistics. He can give himself an entry route as well, and Benji just says, you know what, screw this. I can't do anything up top. I'll go straight into Generator and try to make something happen, but this already looking very much like deja vu of round 1, where it was Dream and Benji alive against the entire TSM FTX repertoire.
Doesn't even matter if you have a drone on Merc, he's still winning the gunfights. I mean, this is a tough spot for Mirage. Benji inside of blue has roamers above him that he's aware of. He's just waiting for them to push him because he really can't focus on pushing the site when he knows he's about to get flanked. Tough spot to be in. He does take a gunfight with Chala, which he walks into the Surya gate after taking all the damage. Dream from Dirt going for the ace clutch, but Jacob, this is too difficult for him. Achieved finishes it the way he started with a nice frag, and that's going to be TSM going up 3-1.
That's a shame. It's almost like, you know how we are always like shocked every time someone like dies from a Kaid electric claw or something? It's like that moment is so unexpected, but we are going to see a timeout from Mirage. I think this is a good time to take it. We've been a little critical of sometimes when teams take these, but I think after like a pretty decent skid here so far and 2 rounds going very drastically in TSM's favor, this isn't a bad time to kind of catch your breath.
I'm a good friend with Christian, the coach in Mirage, and he and I have actually had pretty long conversations about sort of when you want to be calling these tack timeouts and why maybe these are being called. And he's told me his philosophy is he would rather call them early than late, right? He doesn't want to wait until it's like 7 or 6-5 and the team's on their last leg. Like, he wants to fix the problem early when he's able to catch it. So this is what this is for sure. 4 rounds is honestly on the later side for when I've seen him call tack timeouts. I've seen him call it after like 2 or 3 rounds at times. But you can see what he's doing, just trying to mentally reset this team, maybe try to slow them down a bit because these have been very fast rounds. Even that last one, although it went pretty long and they were trying to go for a full clear, the initial engagement between Nyx and Achieved happened right off rip. And yeah, maybe that was more because of Achieved than because of what Nyx was doing. But when you've got a player like Nyx, who is known for getting in those very fast or opening engagements when maybe he needs to slow it down a little bit more, I don't mind Mirage taking a second to be like, hey, let's not do this as much, let's calm down, and let's take this game, because they know that they can play Clubhouse, they just have to perform.
Yeah, Mirage are doing what they can right now to stave off any potential for a relegation situation. We've talked about them being at the bottom of the NAL table for the majority of the stage. But I do want to direct your attention to the scoreline of TSM FTX, because remember, all they need is 6 rounds in this map, and they go to a major. They're halfway there already. On defense, on Clubhouse. So everything kind of seems like it's lining up for TSM. All the planets are getting in order, and everything's about to give them all of the success they need. All they have to do is push through, get 2 more rounds on this defense, and then 1 attack someplace. Even if they lose this game in overtime, they're still guaranteed for the major, so these next couple of rounds are incredibly important for them.
I think starting on defense on Clubhouse has kind of given them that boost to really take this early advantage. I don't know if it'll continue in that second half, but I mean, with the Thatcher allowed, usually we do see this go a little bit more 50-50. It honestly hasn't been so much the map that's, I think, given us the favor of TSM, as much as it has been just them taking those gunfights, being aggressive, being willing to surprise Mirage. And yeah, as you said, Jacob, they are halfway to the major, at least so far for today. We've got another gym bedroom setup, and it looks to be the exact same as what we saw before. It is a cache extension, not a ton of utility on that side of the map, however. A lot of these shields and such coming in from Achieved have been used sort of elsewhere around the bomb site, so we'll see what they want to do. Not a lot of reinforcements, particularly dedicated to the CCTV cache side, so going to be interested to see if that's going to change things up for Mirage, if they want to now this time take cache and try to push in from the east side of the map.
Seems like Achieved might be going back to the bomb, so if anything, it would be Bolo trying to defend inside of Cache for as long as he can. And Geo can wait inside Gold Vault for a potential Logi drop if that's where Mirage want to take things from. But they were successful mostly with the Jacuzzi push back in round number 2, and I'm curious about how much of this attacking strategy is going to mirror what worked back then. Dream's got the exothermic on the wall, but he'll wait a moment before he blows it as Thomas tries to nullify some utility with Ash from below. The wall has been opened. So the question becomes for Mirage, where else do you go? What's the other thing, the other factor that will force TSM into a corner and allow Mirage to kind of ensnare them like a cobra and see if they can't get their second win?
Achieve thought he was slick, moving those shields from the cache side over to the bedroom so that he could counter what Mirage were doing for a take, and then immediately destroyed from below, both of them. Great utility clear coming in from Mirage. This is the one bomb set that they've been able to win so far, and it was this take that was successful for them. Hasn't been as fast this time around. Approaching that minute mark and still no kills. As I say that, Achieved through the bars, looking for a frag. He's done this plenty of times on Sledge. Roles reversed a little bit here in this gunfight. He's going to choose to back off because of it. They're able to open up both set of walls. I don't believe this is something they were able to do last time, opening Jacuzzi and then moving on to open up the bathroom wall as well. Going to give them a lot of angles from outside of the buildings, a lot of these long angles that they can use to pressure TSM and cut off some of these rotations that they'd like to be doing from construction, from cache, if they want to go all the way back from where their roaming positions are, because this could be really hectic as we approach the final 45 seconds.
Nick's about to come right in. Everyone trying to jump out and look for kills, but Loading has got 2 right off the rip, and Shala again in the same position he was before, making a triple kill for Loading. And right now, Geo and Merc trying to make it happen themselves. They cannot. Not Loading with an ace, and gives Mirage their second round. 2 straight gym attacks, both of them going the way of the Owls.
Line them up and knock them down. Loading with the 5K here in round number 5. You love to see it. I don't know what it is about Gym Bedroom, but Mirage, their takes here looking so clean. 2 different styles of takes, right? The first time around, they came into Gym Bedroom, they hit it so fast. They opened up the Jacuzzi wall, they were saying, we're going to take advantage of the fact that you don't realize we're already inside your site, we're rushing at you, we're taking these gunfights, and we're going to win them. This time around, taking their time, destroying that utility from down below, making sure you have that bottom floor covered so you're not going to get flanked when somebody runs up the main stairs, and then opening both sets of walls, walking forward, and taking those gunfights. Loading is a player that we have criticized in the past for being, maybe not the smartest in the way he's taking gunfights, but
we did used to criticize.
Yeah, a while ago. That's not happening anymore, and that's exactly why Loading now with 6 kills will be the lobby leader as we head into round number 6.
That is ridiculous. Remember back when we were criticizing loading really heavily in stage 1, and then he tweets afterwards, like after the stage is done, where he does way better, like thanks for the tough love and all that. That was probably my favorite story overall of the whole stage, was how well Mirage was doing back then. Granted, it was with hot and cold, but everyone on that team had to step up to give them the 3rd place finish that they had in stage 1. And it was honestly really heartwarming to see, like, hey, I took that to heart, and it wasn't really the biggest deal in the world because I pushed through it and I improved. And all we want to do is see these guys improve, and for Mirage to do that, and for loading especially to have performances like that, I don't know if I would have trusted them to get that ace back in stage 1.
No.
I'll be completely honest.
No, loading was kind of bad back in stage 1. Like when Mirage first entered the league, it was a rough start. But you know what? Playing fantastic so far these last couple of stages, and that round was a highlight for him for sure. But let's move on to round 6. This is going to be the one that decides if it'll be an even 3-3 split or if TSM will be able to go up 4-2 on their defensive half. Last time we saw some bandit tricking coming out, I believe it was from Achieved. He's moved over to the Goyo this time, relying a little bit more on these shields, this utility to help out TSM FTX in this final round of the half. And it makes sense, right? If you know they're willing to spend a bunch of EMPs to open up that wall, you're not going to bandit trick it anyways. But it means that since they haven't brought the bandit, Mirage haven't bothered with any of the EMPs. They've just opened this without having to use any of them. So these can now be utilized to try to help out Rafters, destroying those ADSs if they'd like, or if they want to move into site and try to throw those in, or take from construction. There's a lot of options on the board still for Mirage.
They've got the Monty, I think, wanting to make a move onto Raptors at some point, but they do have holes this time, so their take is completely different. They understand the importance of this position. They got plat wall, but they want Raptors too. So Monty's going to create havoc as Geo has to focus his attention there. Elsewhere, Bolo gets nuked by Thomas with the G36C, but Geo right now, Thermite's about to come up and pressure him. His position is being known. The pings are coming through. Geo still wins the fight with a perfect headshot. So up from Harry Potter, they've got one more opportunity to win this, and loading will actually do it this time. So now, firm Rafters control in TSM FTX. They have lost this incredibly pivotal position, and now the crossfires can be established from Mirage as they go for the plant. At the minute, Nyx is the one with Diffuser. He does not have smokes. I don't think anyone on this team has got that for additional cover. So if it happens, you have to hope someone from TSM, either Achieved or Merc, doesn't have a Nitro cell from down below to blow this, because it's going to make things way more difficult. And I think Mirage, they understand they don't really have a perfect strategy to defend this because Dream is dead, so they'll take a second and figure out what they want to do to get this Diffuser down.
Nyx not bringing those smokes, so they had to bring the hard breach charge to get into that garage from down below. An important moment there because Dream had died walking into garage as well, so that's going to leave no more hard breach left in the pockets of Mirage, but they've gotten the tools that they need. 45 seconds on the clock as they're going to try to make their way into the site. They've now opened up a path that the Monty can hopefully fit through. Hopefully it's tall enough that he can walk through with a shield. He's gotten in regardless. Nyx standing in the corner, a big C4 hitting onto loading. That means Thomas has to pick up this defuse kit. He's got to go for this plant. Interesting, they're not letting Nyx do this. It's going to be all into Benji to cover. Nyx can call for intel, but that's going to be about it. Thomas also dying to a C4. That's two of the planters both going down to the Nitro cells, and now TSM have to advance and take the gunfight. They're both back inside of Cash. Achieved with a big one into Nyx, who can't do anything. Benji now alone in the 1v3, no time, and Achieved will hit the headshot to close it out. It's going to be a 4-2 half for TSM FTX.
2 Nitro Cell kills from below, denying 2 separate attempts to get that diffuser down in the spot everyone knows about. It seemed like Mirage had the advantage. They're up 4-3. They're looking for a chance to just get that down. They have Benji on Rappel outside plat wall, the same spot that he was back in round 3 the first time TSM defended it. You have 2 players on Rafters looking for a chance to make it happen, but what do you not do? Clear below, because that is why the verticality on this map matters, and this site in particular matters so damn much. Mirage miss one very crucial step, and all of a sudden TSM FTX take advantage even despite being down 1 critical man. And I mean, to Geo's credit, he also wasted a hell of a lot of time up in Rafters up until they were able to get that frag. And I'd even argue the fact that it was Dream who pushed up first with that smoke meant that there wasn't really anything Mirage could do aside from go into a default plant spot and hope no one was there with a Nitro.
I really wish we would have seen Mirage maybe go for kills in that round. Just running deep into the cache site would have maybe been better because of all those Nitro cells down below. Having a Monty makes that kind of tough, but at the end of the day, it was the call they made, and it didn't end up working out for them. Important to note for Mirage, we've talked a lot about how this game is important for TSM. They want to make it to the major, but Mirage are still a little bit worried about relegations. Now, they're at 7 points, whereas there's a couple teams at 6. So they're not worried about the tiebreaks as much, but if we go through this Playday and we see Beast Coast getting some more points, we see XSEC getting some more points, Mirage could be in the hot seat. They could be the team that get eliminated here. So Mirage, if they could even pick up 1 or 2 more points, that would be huge for them just to secure themselves, get some peace of mind. No, you don't have to play in relegations for sure when we get into that US final, or the NA finals in a couple of months here.
Yeah, the last thing you want is for everyone else to be playing games around you and for you to know that you didn't get any on the day and you kind of have to sit back and wait and hope that other teams do worse than you did. That's
a stressful spot.
Yeah, because you want to have agency over your own future, and at the minute, Mirage have a little bit of that, but not by much. So even 1 point, yes, it does deny TSM immediately from qualifying for the major, but anything that Mirage can do is going to be a big help right now.
Capcan, a popular guy on these drone denial roams of Church Arsenal. Both teams now bringing him out on the 3 rounds that we've seen this strategy get played out. TSM not opting for a rush. They're going to go for this full clear up against the Mirage boys who are roaming from top to bottom all over this map. Looks like most of the clears coming in. We've got a couple players over by Master side. We do have some work being done on this platform wall as well, as Charles is going to get that open now. We see Tommy running back to the bomb site, Benji dropping as well. As we just pass that 2-minute mark, I think Mirage are going to call it that they need 5 players on site. That's a little early for my taste, Jacob.
Yeah.
Usually on a drone denial roam, I'd like to see maybe like a minute 30, even 1 whole minute, because when you're running this strategy, you've kind of put all of your eggs in the roaming basket. So unless you're doing some crazy late flank up the stairs like Nyx might be trying to go for right now, this is kind of a costly strategy.
Yeah, considering if you have a cap can, you don't just want to put them up and then like leave them there and hope that someone runs into them. Like that does work in gold. In this case, you need to be able to force some of the attackers to run into them, which does require you to be present kind of around where you want them to run through carelessly without droning. And that's not something that TSM is going to do. They're very effective with their intel game, and they have been so far through this map, but I do agree, it's a little bit early for them to come back from this. However, we are still at a minute, and we're only just now seeing one of these hatches getting worked on, so it will come down to how TSM capitalizes on all of this additional time that Mirage has given them.
Worth noting as well, I mean, this gunplay hopefully won't end up for anything for Nyx if the Maverick play is true from Geo. Usually it's Merc playing the Maverick for TSM, so this actually does give potential for a kill, but Nyx will back off anyways. Notably, I wanted to say double soft reach being brought in from TSM, so they should have a lot of, they should be able to open up these floorboards very quickly and try to get that vertical advantage. But as we hit the 30-second mark, a couple of key angles still not opened up. This kitchen hatch in particular just now being worked on as they're going to get it at about 25 seconds.
I want to say he did manage to keep the hatch shut at this point, does Thomas. No more impacts left, so it might come down to TSM trying to get it opened up, but the fact that the hatch is closed is going to be a huge problem to how they manage to get this drop. And right now, Geo only has one of them open, so it could be Moto. Merc gets slapped from blue, and everyone on Mirage is finding their kills. Achieved, the only man left alive is Mirage, have managed to stall this attack. That was a perfect, absolutely perfect impact trick from Thomas. It means TSM can't get into Arsenal or Armory, and all of a sudden, this game is way closer than we thought.
All right, Mirage. I was, again, worried about that early round, the fact that they fell off so quickly, but TSM were giving that roam a little bit of respect. They were doing all of the droning, they were checking all the corners, and that slowed them down a little bit, didn't allow them to start working on those hatches until a bit later. And as you mentioned, the impact trick to keep that kitchen hatch closed came in so huge, because that meant if the plant was going to go down through kitchen hatch into Armory, you can't do that anymore. So they had to scramble, get down those main stairs, take those gunfights. Again, the vertical pressure was there, but it didn't result in any kills, and that's weird when you've got Achieved on the sledge, you got a Buck being brought by Merc as well. These are players you expect to be able to do a lot of damage from up above, but unfortunately, just too vigil on the side of Mirage, not being caught by that top-down pressure, and with it, we're only 1 round away from tying it up against TSM.
Yeah, man, that happened even when we were like, wait, Mirage should waste more time up top. We didn't have to worry about that. TSM, I do think, had a lot of control. They just didn't use it very effectively, which is a damn shame considering if they had a little bit more drone working, maybe could have gotten towards the hatches at, say, I don't know, even a minute 20, even 20 seconds before Geo started working on Moto Hatch, they would have had more time to move in, coordinated double drop, which is what it seemed like they were going for because no one was really down main stairs at that point. It was Merc and Generator, it was Geo on Moto, and then it was 3 players alive in Kitchen. So that seemed to be where TSM had went before. It's also notable because back when they played the Sonics 2 Playdays ago, the first time that we saw Chala as an IGL for this team, that's what they did. They went for 2 consecutive kitchen drops with Diffuser into a really weird spot back in the corner in Armory, or in Arsenal, and it looked like it was just down to Bolo being incredible on his main stairs cross that won them those rounds, but in this case, it's not the bait.
Interesting setup from Mirage. Mute Monzi is not typically a combo you associate with CCTV Cash, but they're going to rock it anyways and have a pretty heavy roam game. Nick's going to be the brunt of that down in the basement at the moment. Going to counter any bottom-up pressure that TSM are going to try to utilize, most likely with Merc and Achieved, going for that pressure to deal with perhaps the Mute Jammers or Electric Quads. They're going to be all over the place. Particularly this one on the wall is going to make it very difficult. You saw all the holes that they made in the soft wall before placing that, and loading. Slams Bolo with the headshot, beautifully done. I didn't even realize he got a kill until it was already in the kill feed. That was an insane shot. He's going to get the opener because of it, and hey, it pays off when you're able to slowly open that wall with the Maverick. Gives the defender some time to peek up, get that kill, hide back behind the shield. Beautifully played by Chase.
They've got plat wall open. What else do they go for is the main question, because storming in directly into plat without having some other part of the map under your control is not going to be the way TSM win this round, especially given how entrenched Mirage are with a man advantage. Benji's only got one ADS up with him in Rafters. Gio had two back when TSM was defending on this bomb site. We'll give it a moment and understand exactly how TSM want to take this. I'm looking for some more speed on attack, which is the thing that they did lack a little bit in their previous attempt when they were going for Church. It took a long time for them to really move into position. So I wonder if Mirage can capitalize on TSM perhaps being a little bit slow on the upkeep right now, but it seems like Benji's their first target.
Yeah. Going to be taking a lot of pressure now. The fact this garage panel got opened up so quickly is a big deal, because it's the reason why that's possible is because the Electric Claw wasn't used on that rafter. Here we have loading with another big kill, though. Nick's got one as well, and all of a sudden, Jacob, TSM are scrambling to get back inside of the building. They have the defuse kit on the ground outside the building as well. Loading, playing behind the shield. You just can't handle this, man. It's another one with the TCSG, and Merc all alone, attempting the ace clutch. Doesn't even get the chance. Thomas with a beautiful shot there. You just can't deal with Chase behind a shield.
I mean, I'm the kind of person who uses Kaid with the AUG, but if you're doing that good with the TCSG, I mean, it takes a special kind of man to be able to operate it with that much gumption. And just look at how precise he was with that thing. To be fair, it kind of was being fed kills as TSM funneled into plat looking for an opportunity, because that shield was never dealt with. You have an ADS still to clear there, yes, but there were more of them being used on the bomb site proper than there were for Rafters, which meant that Mirage had more freedom and flexibility with where to put them, and it seemed as though it wasn't something where TSM wanted to devote any additional utility to removing it. They didn't have an Ash, they had an Ace, but it wasn't being used. No, they didn't have an Ace, they had a Maverick, which is why all of this was not clearable for TSM. When we saw Mirage attack on that bomb site, they had an Ash, they used it from below, they cleared that utility when they were on the second floor. But now it's something that TSM kind of has to come back from.
Difficult.
Look at that skin.
Yeah, beautiful skin from Mirage, absolutely. I think that's my favorite. I think of all of these, of all the skins, I mean, APAC had some good skins as well.
Yeah.
I want to shout out the Wildcard skin, the Cyclops skin for sure, but
the Wildcard
Mirage
skin, straight up, man.
Mirage's skin is amazing as well, and as they come in here to a tie game, of course, they're going to be wanting to secure the dub. They're going to be wanting to avoid relegations, but they also want they want to impress their fans so they can sell more skins, Jacob. At the end of the day, this is all what it's about, right?
I have to apologize for not working within the same system as everyone else. I got gifted the skin.
What?
By Ollie.
What?
Yeah. I didn't have to buy it.
I didn't get gifted anything.
I got bribed that skin.
I'm the Canadian.
And he wanted me to give an honest opinion when I made my tier list about it. And he's like, don't put it right in S tier. I want to know what you thought about it. I gave it an A. I gave it an A. It was very, very good skin.
I can't believe this. I'm never cheering for Mirage again. Let's go Bolo.
I also got gifted the Cyclops one, if it makes you feel any better.
That doesn't. That makes me feel worse. Those are the two best skins, Jacob.
Yep. They really are the two best skins.
What the hell?
At least not by the tier list anyway.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I've angered a whole bunch of fans by revealing this information to the public.
Yeah,
but,
you have.
It's all good. Maybe one day you'll get gifted the Mirage skin.
Well, maybe
it'll be in the store for a long damn time.
That's true. I've already bought it, so maybe maybe we'll get something else gifted. But Jacob, we've got a round underway already. 50 seconds gone, and it's a cache extension as well, but it's very different. A lot more of reinforcements being utilized here by Mirage on the cache side. TSM used I think one reinforcement here, maybe two, whereas you can see everything is closed down from cache on the side of Mirage. So a lot of resources from TSM going to have to be used to open this up. They're going to have to use some hard breach. They're using some EMPs already to try to get this open. The second one getting thrown in here.
Here we go.
A nade over the wall as well. Achieved is known for hitting these, but unfortunately that one didn't quite land the way he wanted it to, and Benji lives to fight another day from below, able to deny some of those utility bits, and this is a lot of time wasted already from Benji just inside of cash.
Gio can go for the swing, and he could probably make it, and honestly, Benji kind of makes it easier for him and comes into his direct line of fire on the table. So Gio does nab the first kill. Finally, Benji out of the fray, but that was 1 minute and 40 seconds wasted on nothing but a cash extension, and no one from TSM was logistics or jacuzzi or main stairs, nothing. It is solely west or east to west at this stage in the game for TSM. So what they need is to pick the pace up a little bit more. I think the cross angle, if achieved, wants to hold it from the master window was a nice one. If they want to open up gym window as well, look all the way down to jacuzzi wall, they've got some options here. It's not like they're completely dead in the water, but it will require them to move from cash into construction a little bit quicker than they have so far. And nope, their priority has now shifted directly to jacuzzi. Loading does get the trick off. That is huge for Mirage to hold on to this round for as long as they can.
They had to use 2 EMPs over on the side of the cash hold, and that meant they only had one, so they couldn't stop that trick happening over on the jacuzzi wall. Beautifully played by Loading, and that's that resource management. The TSM just fumbling a little bit. Now they've got 30 seconds to try to vault in through windows and push from construction. Not going to be the best take. Loading almost finds another head, as he's so used to doing with that weapon, but unfortunately, ducking back into construction for a moment. It's going to keep TSM alive. They still have to get in, though. Chala's in and planting. Merc got a kill as well. This is a two-man advantage, but this is the push from Dream. Does get traded out, but this is going to be a big frag with only 7 seconds. They got to pick that back up. Merc gets a double kill, but Thomas denying again. 1v2 now, 1v1. Thomas with the triple. Merc's got to keep this planted, but he can't do it. Saves the KD, and a big round coming in from Mirage. They take the lead.
Everyone from TSM was getting their frags, but who's the last guy they leave alive? The hype man on Mirage, Thomas in the flesh, manages to get the one kill to stop the diffuser, like the third time TSM was trying to get the diffuser down, and swings back around to the top of main stairs. The SMG-11 rattling off a hurricane through TSM's attacking strategy, and this is a very, very well-used timeout for TSM FTX.
Smiles on the face of Dark Zero, I've got to imagine. This is the only path for them continuing to fight for that major. Of course, they'll be playing in the last match of the day, and if TSM can't get even 1 point, if it doesn't get to overtime or if they don't get the win, that's going to mean that Dark Zero, if they get that win, 3 points, will overtake TSM. So this is a big moment, and this is when Pojo decides to call that tack timeout. You see the bit of a difference in the timing for this, right? Whereas Mirage were able to call their tack timeout early, slow down the pace of the game, address that problem right away. TSM have to wait until they're already down by a round. They've blown a huge lead after Mirage have taken 4 of the last 5 rounds to come back from a not ideal starts. I mean, this is a good spot for Mirage to be in, and unless this tack timeout can really hit hard and we can see Pojo Man hype up the rest of his team, I'm worried for TSM.
That's a perfect site rotation for Mirage. Won't be your infamous World Tour because we're not going to bar stage for the next round.
No.
We'll just spoil it
It's
for
better
everybody
now,
who can't
though.
see it. Why is it better?
Well, because they changed it. They added the little doorway.
Well, no, the site is better. That's true.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, for those who don't quite know what a World Tour is, this is something that Jesse came up with that I've used in cast for like a long time. I think I stole it from him, honestly.
I think I stole it from somebody. I don't remember who.
Did you? Well, the idea is if you win all 3 defensive sites and then you go to the other site that wasn't used after you won those 3, and then you win all 4 individual sites all in a row, that's a World Tour.
Yes.
You literally went around the world. You circumnavigated the globe and won every single site on the map.
Yeah, not easy to do. Some maps easier than others, but
True.
Clubhouse, historically, probably the hardest map to perform a World Tour on. Because Barstock, previously, so terrible. Awful site.
Yep.
Nowadays, it's okay. We've seen some teams experimenting with it. Europe has done some cool things with Barstock. North
Europe
America
had like a 63% win rate on it at one point, and I think like CDAPS in Challenger League absolutely lost his marbles at it. It was so funny.
NA's a little far behind, I would say, in the Barstock. I don't know if I've seen a great Barstock round, but I will say Mirage actually were the first North American team ever to play Barstock after the update. They had a really bad setup and got destroyed. So
it wasn't great.
Maybe that's why we haven't seen it so far in the World Tour attempts.
Probably not. Well, can't be bar stage this time. We are back down to church, and this was an example of Mirage really hammering it home on TSM, who only had a strategy of drop 2 hatches and hope that Merc can create some kind of impact from Generator. How much more time can Mirage waste on this attempt? They only, I mean, it seems as though it's mostly a turtle setup, with the exception of Benji and Nyx, who are upstairs trying to get, or make sure plat wall stays closed for as long as possible. This is a really, really good thing for Mirage, assuming TSM doesn't read into how many players are upstairs and tries a very quick sight hit. But for the moment, it doesn't really seem as though that's the idea they're going with.
Capcam being played by Benji up on the rafters. Notably, we haven't had an update come through. This is still the old patch, and so we don't have Benji being able to stack those on windows or doorways or anything like that, but still would be nice to be able to force your opponents to go for that shot, right? Even if they know that a Capcan charge is there, they do have to go in and shoot it, which can give an opportunity for you to take a advantage gunfight. He's facing a lot of pressure right now. Oh, Benji! Doesn't matter the pressure he's facing. He'll just find Merc regardless. And Mirage, consistently, although they're not in the best situations, they find the shots anyways. And he gets a second one on to achieve. Geo clears with the player top red and will finally shut down the menace that is Benji and Rafters. But by God, I think it's too late, Jacob.
Yeah, and that's also enabled Nyx to get the heck out of dodge. That's 2 kills straight away. The Kaid manages to escape the wrath of Geometrics, and that's not something that they're able to work with anymore. So both Thomas and loading back on the bomb site, Nyx escapes into blue, so he's got box control. TSM, what's going right for them right now? They've got Diffuser, they've got 2 Exothermics, they've got 2 Selmas left, and they've got majority torches remaining. So if anything, they can get some hatches, assuming that they haven't been kaided. But honestly, I'll make the argument you probably need to find a way to pressure together, at least 2 players moving at the same time rather than 3 people being split. But it does look as though everyone on TSM is not together at the minute.
I'll draw your attention to the left-hand side of your screen. Only 1 drivable drone on the side of TSM FTX. Geo has 1 that he can control. Otherwise, they've got no way to collect information. So going to be starved for that. Also starved for soft breach, right? They cannot open up many of these floorboards. It's going to be very difficult unless they want to use shooting through the floorboards with a fast gun. I mean, that's not really going to work out for you. So they're going to walk into blue anyways, try to take this gunfight. Dirt is boarded up, Jacob. They're not going to be as sneaky as they want to be here.
As soon as Bolo opens this up, Kaid's going to have to swing back, but he might not even need to. Nope, he will immediately if Nyx just presses mouse 1. He's got a free kill. Instead, Bolo will still find it, but they've lost Geo in the process. With 15 seconds to go, Dream can make the swing back around. It falls on Shala. The clutch master on TSM can't make it happen, and Mirage all of a sudden are on match point. They've won 5 in a row.
That's been a huge comeback for Mirage, and Benji's been the biggest reason in that round, being able to play up in Rafters. And we saw this the last Playday as well. First couple of rounds, Benji was huge on the roam, having massive plays, and he hasn't been a player that we've really talked about, I would say, enough this stage. He is the young fragger on the side of Mirage, the one who's supposed to be getting those flashy picks on the roam, right? And this week, he has just been on fire, being able to rack those up for his team. It was a big reason why Mirage went off to an early lead yesterday. And he's a big reason why Mirage are now in the position that they're at. 6-4, match point, as you said. And TSM, if they don't get any points here, they have to be so worried about what Dark Zero will do at the end of the day.
Yeah, right now, Dark Zero looking at what Mirage are doing and thinking, thank you so much for all that you've done for us. After Dark Zero had a pretty disastrous performance earlier today against Astralis. TSM still require 1 point from this match to get to Sweden. However, there is the possibility that Dark Zero could not get the 3 points required against Beast Coast, which would still mean that TSM qualify for Sweden anyway, but their fate is still, would they prefer it for it to be in their hands. All they need to do is force overtime.
Yeah, if everybody fails today, then TSM can go by default.
True,
because they were already in the top 4 spot. So if Dark Zero lose both their games and TSM lose their game, then by default they get to go. So that's probably going to be the most likely way for TSM to make Sweden at this point, which isn't what they wanted, but ultimately that might be what they have to rely on. Now, we've got the same CCV cache setup that they were running before with Nyx on this wild Mozzie roam that he was working with last time. Gonna be interested to see if the electric claws are in the same spot. I believe they are. 1 being utilized, loading trying to trick here on the platform wall. Again, though, with the Maverick, it's not going to be the biggest deal in the world. They can open this up regardless. And since they've started to commit with the Geo with the blowtorch, it's unlikely that they're now going to rotate Shala around to bring the exothermic.
Yeah, look at the ADS positions as well that are going to be protecting loading in the exact same position that he was before. TSM, sometimes a very adaptable team. I'm going to hope and pray that they understand what they didn't do right last round and correct for it here, because this is still going to be a massive issue for them to deal with. They haven't forced Benji out of a Raptor spot, but they now now do have the wall open and 2 minutes with which to work. Geo, unfortunately, falling by the wayside himself. Benji gets the kill straight through plat wall as soon as it gets opened up. I mean, Geo's kind of already done his job, but he did have 8 kills. He was one of the best fraggers on the team up until this point, so that's a big operator to lose, especially since he still had his frag grenades in his back pocket.
Doesn't matter the site. Benji on Raptors is just a monster. They could be defending CCTV Cash, they could be defending Church Arsenal, they could be defending on Villa, and he'd still be on Raptors, hitting these shots. Huge stuff coming in on the smoke this time around to be able to shut down, get that opening pick onto Geo. Now, we've talked about the hard breach a lot this matchup. Bolo's still going to have a lot in his pockets, so they're going to be just fine as they continue to work their way into Garage. Seems like it's going to be the take. Both these teams more or less always favoring Garage, despite the fact that Capitao is banned out. You might consider a construction take a little bit easier, but for them, this is the way they want to take it. Benji now losing his ADS, and he's got to run away because there's sure to be a frag grenade to follow it up. Achieved is famous for these, and there it is. Locking it down, Benji goes down, and that's the first kill of the round, gets traded.
Pretty advisable for Dream to make the rotate back towards red because it means that he's not holding the position directly to the left of the breach. But TSM need to work with the time that they've got. They do have 50 seconds. They've got diffuser. They don't have smokes in this case. So Shala opting for the flashes to help work on the Raptors. Flush does work, and Merc is there running cover. How many Nitro cells do we have? 3 right now for Mirage. So there is the potential for them to still play this from below or to chuck those Nitros from their defensive positions at cash because no one is pressuring from construction. So for TSM, this is a pretty linear take from plat wall and from Rafters. And this is Mirage having to bunker down and defend for as long as possible. Dream wins the fight against Achieve, but the plant is still going to be attempted. One Nitro cell goes in, doesn't stop it. Dream with 2 kills. Bolo needs to hold this cross. Shala gets the diffuser down, and we enter a post plant. Bolo needs to hold this cross as long as he possibly can. Another Nitro cell doesn't work out. Here comes the crossing fire. Bolo with 1. Mozzie runs outside looking for a kill, but he doesn't come back to serve a window, but he will finally take down Shala. Bolo needs to keep his team in this match. Well, down 1 player. Nyx with Dream on low HP. This still might be accomplishable for Bolo, but he needs to hold firm. Counter defuse attempt coming out from Nyx. All of a sudden, it turns into a winnable situation, but it's not something he can stave off forever. Mirage keep themselves alive in the North American League. They will not go to relegations. Heartbreak for TSM FTX.
And Mirage, they're going to be the ones celebrating today. TSM still potentially in an alright situation. They're losing that round, but they're still potentially in a top 4 spot. Mirage surviving in the NAL. They're going to be around in 2022. Jacob, we're going to see them next year, and look at the huddle. The joy on their faces. Really well-fought game here against TSM, who just couldn't stand up to the Canadian boys.
That was what we were worried about when this game started. It was TSM very barely winning and Mirage barely losing because they had those overtime contests from the game yesterday, and now it's up to Dark Zero to decide the final participant for North America going to Sweden.
Yeah.
That's it. If Dark Zero managed to get 3 points against Beast Coast in the very final game of this Playday, what does that mean? They've got tiebreaker over TSM, which means it would be Dark Zero vaulting over them into that 4th place position, but they require all 3 of those points against Beast Coast, so that game at the end of the day is incredibly important.
Yeah, there's also more relegation stuff happening because now we've got a potential 4 teams that could still be in that battle.
Oh my god.
And this does leave open the possibility of if XSET get 3 points and if Beast Coast get 3 points, there's going to be, I believe, a 4-way tie for dead last, of which Dark Zero lose. So Dark Zero are still able to make the major, and they're still able to get relegated. These last couple of games are going to be ridiculous with the implications.
Wow. I don't think we ever thought Dark Zero was going to be in a relegation conversation, especially given what that race at the bottom has looked like. It's been Mirage, Astralis, Beast Coast, XSET. We haven't talked about XSET at all so far today, and the possibility of them still getting knocked out, at least temporarily, from the North American League is unfortunately very high. But for Mirage, it finally goes until the end of the North American League in Stage 3 for them to ensure that they do not have to worry about it themselves. They're safe. TSM, they're looking for a major spot. They're safe as well. Dark Zero, your fate is once again in your hands. This is getting insane down to the wire.
We talk about all the possibilities here. I mean, you brought up XSET. That was still a team that has a lot of problems, and they do need to win a game against SSG if they want that scenario to come in. But we've got a panel to break it down. It's not you and I, Jacob. They've got a couple other analysts over there. We'll throw it through a break, and then we'll see what Veli and the boys have got in store for us.
What does it take to call next? Follow us for a deep dive into the Rainbow Six community, breaking down barriers, taking you behind the scenes, and showing what it means to level up.
If you want to get better, try reviewing your game footage. Insights.gg's game capture tool makes recording and reviewing fast and easy. With no lag, automatic recording, and instant highlights, it's never been easier to learn from your gameplay. Try it for free at insights.gg today.
Welcome back to the NAL Analyst Desk. I'm your host, Veli, steering the ship with my boys, Stokes and also Emzo. Fellas, we just saw a really good game, and we also have an interview from Thomas of Mirage, the winning team. Whenever we get the chance, I can't wait to see Thomas on the screen. Whenever he's up there, by the way.
That's what I'm saying.
There's always great interviews around. Thomas, what's going on? Congratulations on the win, man. How big is it that you guys close out the stage with such a big win over a team like TSM FTX?
It's actually amazing. Obviously, yesterday, you know, with all due respect to Sonics, I think we should have closed that out too. And then if we had one today, or when we had one today, we would have had head-to-head and been a Sweden major. I mean, you know, it happens. Just got to move on. Worry about the next game, which we did. All love to my boy Achieved out there, and all the guys on TSM FTX, Bolo, Merc, Poge, Data, Geo, Chala. I love those guys. Those guys are the homies. But yeah, today we just need to secure our spot in NAL and make sure we're not in a chance to get relegated. Yeah, and it felt really good because right now, before the game, Achieved had me 3-2 in games. He's beaten me in professional play. So now it's 3-3. Now we have a tiebreaker. So next stage or wherever it is, we have the other tiebreaker to deal with.
Like to see that. Like to see that. But I got a question for you real quick, Tommy. And listen, there's a lot of stuff to talk about with this clubhouse, and I know that you know that, but you know what I have to ask. Where the hell did loading come from? Because Chase was on fire today, man. I don't know if your hype just put him to new heights or what, but, I mean, shooters were shooting. That's all I'm saying.
Shooters were shooting. Chase was definitely shooting, and it's actually funny because it was him and Benji eating up in a specific, I don't know which round it was. I think it was like the first cash round, and I get like one kill. I don't know what it was actually, and I'm like, that, and I was yelling at Achieved across the stage saying, "That's all me, baby. That's all me." When I'm like, I only got one kill, and these fools are eating up like 3 kills apiece. So loading has been really good. I've told him when I joined the team, you know, obviously looking at him from XSET, we didn't really see him as much of a threat stage 1 because loading, you know, he was new to the NAL, new to like the tier 1 pro scene, even though he was on like Mirage through the Canadian division. But he improved dramatically. Like people were just surprised how much he improved from stage 1 to stage 2 and now to stage 3.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think he deserves the title of the most improved player in NAL Season 1.
Man, it felt like they were preying on his downfall for a second too. You know what I mean? Like everyone was like, "Oh, I don't know if loading's cut out for this."
People were sleeping on him.
That's what I'm saying, man. And no one knows how long this guy's been playing this game either. He is a veteran when it comes down to it. This guy was friends with Macy J all the way back in year 1 playing the game. It's absolutely insane.
It's actually crazy because if you guys look at that clip of Kickstar on playing with the Ace with Ash, loading was in that clip.
Wow.
So,
Thomas, I got a question for you as well. So, during your impact tricking in Arsenal, you strike me as a bit of a ballet dancer. Did that come into play? You were just dancing left and right. We
Boy,
know how
my
good
hips were
Achieved
shaking
is.
like Shakira in that game.
Right. I was seeing, man, you pirouettes and everything.
Oh man.
I mean, to be honest, it worked really well because I was playing Vigil, and they didn't know where I was, so like I left the bar early, so they thought I was still there. I played Kitchen. They only had like 55 seconds to sledge, so I'm just face checking it the whole time, throwing impacts, and then like I finally died to Thermite in blue, and then my whole team like slaughtered the rest of them coming down. So like me dying there was like really good for them because like I was bothering them from getting the kitchen hatch and stuff like that. We knew like TSM was going for the kitchen take due to their recent Playday versus Sonics on Clubhouse. So yeah.
All right, and also, Thomas, you've been in the scene for a long time.
Yes,
Kickstar,
sir.
he left us at a young age, man, and I know that you have a lot of history with him, and I'm pretty sure you have a really cool story or two that you love to share about our friend Michael.
So obviously, like I'm gonna take my time with this one.
Oh, feel
The
free,
first time I
man.
met Kickstar was at Raleigh. I was already a pro on Luminosity and then also Accelerate Gaming, which is now TSM. At the Raleigh hotel, the UB store was up top, like in front of the stadium where everyone's like getting food and stuff like that. So I see this like guy in a I think it was a silver suit or like light blue. I forgot what it was.
It's the silver
at
one
that
with the black. I remember what you're talking about. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then he has his hair, and then he has his like the blue jeans, or no, not the blue jeans, the blue dress pants right in front of me. And then like I'm sitting right behind him, waiting to like get these the real life chibis, like the operator chibis, right?
Mm.
So I'm like, all right, bet it's my first like major LAN that I'm visiting. By the way, I wasn't playing at the LAN. I still haven't played at a major LAN. Hopefully soon. And he just looks behind me like this, and then he just turns around saying, "Hey, what's up, man? I'm Kicks." I was like, "Bro, I freaking know you, man." How's it going? And we were just talking about like the collectibles, and he's like, "Yeah, I have this gold Kavera one. I'm trying to buy like the gold Valkyrie. I need that one." I was like, "Listen, bro, like I appreciate you having like I told him straight up like I appreciate you like talking to me." He's like, "Yeah, no problem, man." Like and then from then we started playing ranked, and it's actually crazy because a year ago from this July, he has a clip on Twitter, and he screwed up an echo. He screwed up a call out to me that costing me a round in ranked or something. It's in Canal clip, but like the clip or the round that he's talking about was like from a different game or different round. And he literally asked me saying, "Hey Thomas, I'm sorry that I messed up this clip. This is this round from Canal is what made up for it. I won't mess it up next time." And when I heard the news of Kicks, like I just looked at that clip and I was like, "Bro, it's actually." Without me cursing, freaking crazy, man. Like how much of like a sweet person he was, and the stories that I heard of him when I was in Raleigh, where there's a couple people in here in the scene that haven't said it yet, but some of them were not even pro players at the time, or not even Challenger League players, and they had a ticket to the event, but didn't have a plane ticket or a hotel room, and he opted to give them money, and he did give them money to get a hotel room or to get the airplane ticket. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna say he's a fucking amazing dude, and like
He is.
we're never
He
gonna have
absolutely
someone like to replace someone like him. Like it's actually, it hurts to talk about him like at a young age where like he had this whole life to experience, and we're gonna fucking miss him. I'm sorry.
Thomas, you're right, man. Whenever we talk about Kicks, it's almost as if we're talking about a little big brother, right?
Yeah, I've had a hard time dealing with people passing away around my life, including my father a year ago, and I know Kix is up there with him looking down at me and saying, "Hey, I knew him," and explaining how the game works.
Definitely. Thomas, congratulations on the big win to close out the stage. We wish you guys and Mirage the best, especially next season. You better work your way up to a major, man. You guys got the skill in order to do it. And also, thank you for sharing your experience
Hopefully
with Kicks.
soon. Rest in peace, Kickstar, forever.
Definitely.
In our
Kickstar
memories.
forever, man. Hey, Thomas, you have a good night, man. And we'll talk to you next time. But with the highlights brought to us by Predator, Man, yo, Stokes, 0% prediction rate, by the way.
We come off that,
I
and you
mean,
do me
hey,
like that?
let's go.
I mean, you know what? That's right. That's right. I was the one to pick TSM. Somebody had to do it, and so I fell on that side of the fence. But honestly, I'm happy with it because Mirage deserved this when they looked so dastardly throughout all of this.
You know, that's really due to three people on Mirage, man. Thomas, Loading, and Benji all showed up. But that's not. But I gotta say, TSM, Sleepy Geo finally woke up, and that was good to see, man. That wasn't enough, but it was still something. I would have loved to see TSM maybe take it to overtime, but at the end of the day, Mirage, they did exactly what I was expecting to do. You saw those early rounds. They showed that smoothness. It didn't always work. They got a little ahead of themselves, but they were excited to win those rounds. And you know what? They came through in the end because of those three players. Obviously, everyone else did their job as well, but man, those three, they were like, I am not going home. I am staying in Pro League, or you know, whatever you call it now.
I think that we're back now. I do believe. But either way, though, folks, yeah, a beautiful matchup between TSM as well as Mirage. A 7-4 here on Clubhouse. And, I mean, honestly, a great showing for Mirage overall. The biggest thing for me, Emzo, is that TSM, it just was lackluster across the board. We had some signs of life, but, I mean, it seems like they're just not on the same page.
Right. Well, I mean, the thing that looked like TSM was going to play well was the early rounds. Honestly, it was the roam game coming from the basement defenses for both teams. That's such a contrast to what we saw yesterday, where both teams were playing a little more passive. We'll hang out downstairs, let them spend the first 2 minutes just getting a drink at the bar, put a song in the jukebox, you know. Just
the
having
same
a good time.
one, by the way, the same
Exactly.
song
Of course,
all
well,
the time.
it's limited, you know. It's on there for profiling reasons.
Right, but also, fellas, we have a treat. We have yet another interview from Christian from Mirage.
Nice.
Okay. He also has some
All right.
words about kicks he wanted to share with us. So, Christian, I know you're out there. I know you hear us right now. Christian,
Aw,
first
man.
off, you know what? I miss you, man. It's good
Hi,
to
buddy.
see you again. Congratulations on the big win. But also, you had memories that, or something you wanted to say about Kickstar as well. So, we can't wait to hear it. Lay it on us.
Yeah, I have some pretty distinguishable memories about Kix. I just kind of wanted to showcase like the sharp mind that he had for the game. I just remember very particularly at Rally, we had one strat that we implemented. I guess there's two different of the same strat. But one, it was just a funny comment that I made to him where basically, I think we kept nading like a specific player on bank, and they were running Doc, and I made a joke to Kix and basically saying like, oh man, like it sucks that we can't secure these kills. Maybe we should ban Doc. And Kix, he was very serious at the time. I kind of brushed it off saying like, no, don't do that. And and then another time was we implemented this defense on a map, and Kix on the broadcast, I just remember him very distinguishably recognizing basically the intention behind the strategy and be able to showcase that to the fans, and it was just absolutely incredible. And I'm going to miss his mind, and I know the rest of the league will as well.
Biggest brain in the game. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Christian. And also, once again, congratulations on the big win. I miss you, and can't wait to see you guys tear it up next season, all right? Make it to a major for us.
Yeah, we'll try our best. Thank you, Belly. Thank you, guys.
Anytime, baby. You take it easy. All right,
Thanks, you too.
fellas, so that was that matchup. TSM, they did lose in that game, which is going to make things a little bit harder when it comes to Sweden, but also we do have a community poll question. So it is, Achieve leads Dream and 1vx wins by just one. Which player will have more clutches in this matchup? Who's going to be the clutch guy out of the two?
Oh, that's going to be a difficult one for me. A little up in the air, but I'm going to have to go with Achieve.
Yeah,
I mean,
after
let's
what
be,
we saw
can we
yesterday.
can you really fight the power of TSM FTX on Twitter?
can.
I don't think you can. I don't think it's possible.
All right.
I don't think it's possible. I'm
Well,
just going to be honest.
Sorry, Dream.
Yeah. Sorry, Dream. We love you. We love the Dream claps. But the community, they're going to agree with us as well. Achieve dominated the poll, 77% to Dreams, 23.
We saw yesterday, man.
TSM had to win something, right?
Right. This is their consolation prize.
Exactly.
Oh,
but,
boy.
ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, okay, this one is going to be crazy. We have Space Station Gaming facing off against Xset. Now, Space Station Gaming, they've been on a tear lately, but Sam, Xset, they can have a little upset here and there, right?
Yeah, I think that
They
they're
scared us yesterday.
you know, I think they're primed for something magical. Now, the thing is that can they do it against SSG? Because this team is just,
imagine.
they've been just absolutely absurd. Like, there's really no other way to put it. Skies is absolutely electric in the IGL position, very, very good inside of the supporting role overall. And then you just have a laundry list of names past that have just been popping off. Most notably, as all you guys know, as I've been calling them all season, Hot and Hot. Hot and Cold has been so unbelievably good at the game.
Yeah.
It's just been truly, truly amazing to watch.
Not just the players, but shout out to Lycan and that coaching staff as well. But ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, we have Space Station Gaming versus XSET. We'll see you there.